Hey, everybody, and welcome to Just Another Effing Podcast. This week, we are going to talk about an invasion angle at Impact, and then we're going to get into our wrestling top 10 segments. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Just Another Effing Podcast. Damn it. Hit the music. Coming to you live from the effing Worldwide Media Studios, located in parts unknown. It's just another effing podcast. Hey, welcome.
1, 2, 3. I love that new intro.
Welcome to another episode of Just Another Effing Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. We're still alive and we're still on the air. I, of course, am the JFB, the dangerous man from the hub city, James from Boston.
And I had to switch this around there. It just doesn't feel right.
It was backwards, yo.
I am the patron saint of professional wrestling. I'm that gingered up, bubbly son of a bitch. I'm Canada Dry, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Canada Dry bringing the bubbly heat as always. So, let's get to our dark match, which is the news. And then we'll get into our main event segment, which is the top 10 wrestling segments of all time. We're going to call this part 1 because I have a feeling we're going to do multiple versions of this
maybe not
over the next few months. What's that?
But we can do a part 2 later.
Yeah,
on.
we'll definitely have a part 2. There's so many. So, but before we get to the main event, the auditory orgasm, if you will, let's go ahead and talk about, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about the news. $1 million intros, man, they pay for themselves.
I'm Walter Cronkite, and today.
So let's get into the news. Ring of Honor invaded Impact Wrestling at their Hard to Kill. Among them was Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, PCO, and a couple others invaded Impact at their Hard to Kill pay-per-view. So apparently this forbidden door is open now. What's funny is Ring of Honor is in a hiatus. So I wouldn't really call it necessarily an invasion, but they kind of cleaned house. They got in the ring and they cleaned house. And
were
but
they
a lot of
wearing
people.
ROH shirts or no?
What's that?
Were they wearing ROH shirts?
They weren't, which is a shame. It is a shame, but yeah, they weren't, bastards.
Because that would have been cool, right?
Yeah.
No. So we'll see.
Now the match of the night was Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo, my girl from the Northeast, Deonna Purrazzo, for the Impact World's Women's Championship, which is funny because it was a Texas death match and it was by far probably the best match of the night. Mickie James keeps the belt. She retains over Deonna Purrazzo. My hat goes out to every single one of those girls who put on that match. They both killed it. Speaking of Mickie James, she is now officially an entrant in the WWE Royal Rumbles. Yes, they made the announcement at SmackDown. So now there's apparently a forbidden door that has been creaked open a little bit between Impact and the WWE. Now, will this result in maybe seeing more Impact guys coming in, possibly at the Royal Rumble? Who knows? They've only announced 5 men so far. So what are your thoughts on this, on Impact letting Mickie James go?
I'm glad that Mickie James kept the title just for that reason. And it gives our friend Natalia a chance to maybe challenge for that title if it
Yeah.
stays on Mickey James.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious as if Mickey James is going to actually come down the ramp at Royal Rumble with the Impact Women's Championship.
well, they're advertising it as the Impact Women's Champion. So
Yeah.
um,
Might as well.
I feel like I feel as if this is in her contract to be able to appear wherever she wants. So I don't
Yeah.
feel this is Impact as much as her just being allowed to go where she wants.
Yeah. I mean, she's
And-
been around for a lot of years, and she
Yeah.
has been on some amazing matches. I think it's just to let her kind of go where she wants to go and do what she wants to do.
The part where Impact plays a part is using that Impact title as a prop.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Matt Striker is out as a commentator on Impact. Apparently, according to Dirt Sheets, specifically Dave Meltzer, this has been in the work for months. There's no word as to why he left or why he was fired. He did tweet something and then deleted it, but of course, nothing is ever truly deleted from the internet. The tweet surfaced pretty quickly after he deleted it. Basically, he was calling out Impact officials and Impact ownership. So Matt Striker gone, which is kind of sad because he was really good. I mean, he was really becoming a big voice for Impact. You know, not on the lines of like, you know, a JR or a Jerry the King Lawler, but you know, he was becoming the voice.
Do you know what surprises me is that no one is signing Ronaldo. Like that,
I think yeah, that's ridiculous. But
that
you know,
guy has a silk voice. He's got.
Yeah.
He's the best in the world right now. As far as
I agree.
Professional wrestling.
I agree 100%.
AEW
It'll
is
be
the
interesting to
best
see
right
where he ends, if he ends up anywhere. I know he still does boxing for Showtime. It'll be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing him get back to wrestling.
I would say this: if JR is actually done,
Yeah,
in the next couple of years, watch Ronaldo coming into AEW for sure.
I think that would be great. Yeah, to see Ronaldo as All Elite would be awesome. So O'Reilly and Fish, if you caught AEW this past week on Dynamite, they were wearing the Red Dragon shirts, their former tag team name. But AEW actually trademarked a new moniker, if you will, for Dynamite and for person or persons for entertainment purposes. And that, of course, is Paragon. Which a lot of people are now speculating that's what the new faction for Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly is going to be called, is Paragon. It'll be interesting. Obviously, they can't use Undisputed Era. That's owned by the WWE. But nonetheless, yeah, that's the new. What do you think of the new moniker? What do you think about the possibility of that being the name of the faction?
I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I like Paragon. It's interesting.
It reminds me a bit of Jericho as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You remember used to call himself that?
Oh yeah. Good call. Good pull by Canada Dry, baby.
Well, I'm a Jericho holic, as they say.
Yeah.
So I know all the Jericho folks.
The last bit of news, WWE releases a lot of people from backstage, specifically NXT and specifically Triple H hires. They have let go of Samoa Joe, William Regal, Road Dogg, Scott Armstrong, Ace Steel, who worked in the Performance Center, Allison Danger, who's Steve Corino's wife. She was also a trainer at the center, and Gabe Sapolsky, who used to run Evolve Pro Wrestling before WWE bought them. There were also some people from front office that were let go as well. So WWE is not done chopping down the big tree called profit. They got to make more profits, and of course, they'll have their 10K and their 8Q coming out later next month as well for the year and for the quarter. So. Are you surprised by these releases, Canada Dry?
Samoa Joe, like being fired again.
Yeah.
But when did they bring him up? So like that was like in the summer, right?
Yeah.
And then and
Yeah.
then Regal's the one that really surprised me. Like,
Yeah. It's Triple H's, it's Triple H's hires that are obviously are getting knocked down and taken out. It makes you wonder if maybe the shine on Triple H and that shine that he had with the success of NXT in the very early beginnings, and going up to when he got hurt, when he got his heart condition, and they reformatted the 2.0. It makes you wonder if maybe the shine is off. Maybe Triple H might. I mean, I don't see it happening, but speculation is he might go somewhere else where he's got a little bit more creative freedom. So I don't think it's going to happen, but that's
no,
just
I
me.
don't think Triple H leaving is an option at all. But
Yeah.
Hey, he's here.
Hey, we got our third guest in, ladies and gentlemen. Brick City Al. What is going on,
What's
brother?
going on, I'm doing good. Just give me 1 sec. Let me fix the headphones.
Yeah, no problem.
He's also known as the Pure Shooter.
Yes, the Pure Shooter. Absolutely, 100%. Man, it is good to have him back
Perfect.
on. It's good to have you back, brother.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
Hell
Definitely
yeah.
great to be here. What did I miss? I had to run to the store really quick.
We just went through the news. We're actually done. We're going to get ready to do the main event. But I hear through the grapevine that
You're breaking up.
You got a beef. You got a beef that you want to get out of the way.
I think he froze. That's the problem with these. They're trying to shut him down. They're trying to shut him up. But
let's see. Is Adam to stream?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
No, it's just black screen now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having technical difficulties.
That's what happens though when you have a guest on the show. You take those chances, right?
I know. Yeah. I mean, at least he's not having a wardrobe malfunction or anything like that. So
plans of a wardrobe malfunction on the show, just let us know ahead of time so we can make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, so we can live stream with 5-second editing in there, so we can make sure that
should we?
Oh, he's gone. Okay, maybe he's trying to get back on. But yeah, so what do you think about Triple H? Where do you think Triple H leaves to get? I mean, he's got great ideas, and NXT was a great format, really, and a great platform to show off.
Well, I feel he's locked into WWE.
Yeah,
maybe if they sold, he would. Maybe if they sold, he would consider going somewhere else. But as long as it's in the family right now, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, there we go. What's up, brother?
Are we all good now?
You guys sound warped.
Yeah.
Well, we can hear you. So if you want to do your shoot, it'll be all good. You don't need to hear us. You can do your shoot.
Yeah, drop it.
Just so you know, his words do not. You go ahead and say what we were going to say.
Yeah, the views expressed by Brick City Al do not necessarily correlate those with just another.
I wish you guys could hear what I'm hearing because it's all in slow motion.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So his views don't represent us or effing wrestling, but Brick City Al, man, drop that promo.
Ah, shit.
All right, well, let's get to the main event. Let's go ahead and get to the main event. We can get his promo. Near the end. So
yeah.
Now that we're done with the news, let's get into, of course, the main event, the auditory orgasm you've all been waiting for.
Gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hey, main event time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, we are talking about wrestling segments, and it's not necessarily matches. It's like Piper's Pit, weddings, funerals, crucifixions, slamcast. Yes, main event, baby. That's the segment that we're going to talk about. Now we picked 10. Obviously, there's a plethora, a cornucopia, if you will, of freaking huge amounts of these great segments. And we picked the 10 that probably mean the most to us. And of course, we did 4 and put them on Twitter and let you guys vote. And they voted, well, kind of weird. I wasn't expecting the outcome that we got on the final 4, but let's go ahead and get started. Top 10 wrestling moments, segments, all time, part 1. And the first one, of course, is Nexus debuts and wreaks havoc. Nexus debuts and runs amok. They attack John Cena. How awesome was it seeing the new guys on the block, NXT Season 1, show up on Raw on June 7th, 2010, and attacking John Cena, CM Punk, Luke Gallows, Jerry the King Lawler, Matt Striker, Justin Roberts, and anyone else in the ring before destroying the set, including the ring. This led to Cena being stretchered out. Daniel Bryan actually got fired for spitting on Cena. They thought it was too much for their PG programming. And it was the first shot in a feud that would eventually lead to several months. I personally loved the invasion angle with NXT. I thought it was just incredible, man. Canada Dry, what did you think?
Well, what I loved about this was it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
Because they weren't being treated very well in NXT. You know, they're treating like game show hosts or game show contestants. And I think, Daniel Bryan got fired for that. But I just thought it was so awesome. These guys coming in and just running amok, destroying the ring, destroying John Cena, and all the weeks that followed, they beat up Ricky Steamboat. They beat up everyone. They beat up Jericho. They beat up Edge. Like, it was so cool.
Yeah. It was literally insane. I mean, you know, it's funny when you have invasion angles. It's usually another company coming in and wreaking havoc. You know, obviously NXT is their own brand. So, but you know, the purpose is they were going to take over Raw and SmackDown until everyone in Nexus got a contract, because at that point, Wade Barrett, who was the season 1 winner, was the only one who had an actual contract. Everybody else supposedly did not. So, I loved it. I thought it was a great invasion angle. It was a lot better than the WCW, ECW invasion angle. And they just wreaked havoc. I mean, they just destroyed whatever they could get their hands on.
When the SummerSlam was when they screwed it up.
Yeah.
It just
fizzled out. You know, Cena went over, and they kind of disbanded at that point. And there were new guys who came in and guys who left. So, but yeah, that was number 10. We're going to go now to number 9. Who can forget the time that Jericho slammed HBK into the Jeritron 6000, ladies and gentlemen? After taking a much-needed 2-year hiatus, Jericho returned on November 19th, 2007. In April 2008, he confronted HBK, stating he enjoyed retiring Ric Flair. After being the special guest referee and insinuating that HBK cheated to beat Batista, Jericho lost to HBK, and in imitating a handshake, he pointed out during the highlight reel segment that Jericho was being booed while HBK was being cheered, even though Jericho was in the right. He low blows HBK and throws him headfirst into the Jeritron 6000, injuring HBK's eye and turning heel. Holy crap. Canada Dry, did you even watch that live?
I did, and I was loving every single second of that. Just the way Jericho, just the way Jericho called him a worm and just like he just there's no, even as a heel, I've always loved Jericho.
Yeah.
Just the way that feud. That's got to be one of my favorite feuds of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for me, it goes down as easily one of Jericho's best. At least in my books, one of his best feuds was with HBK. I mean, you have HBK on the back end of his career. You have Jericho kind of in the middle of his career at that point. I mean, he's been, he's shown up, he's gone. What I really loved about it was Jericho came in and started wearing these suits, and he based it off of Anton Sugar from No Country with Old Men. If you've never seen that movie, he is one of the dastardliest.
What I'm saying to you right now.
He is one of the best movie villains of all time. Anton Sugar, played by Javier Bardem.
He also based it on Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, and Nick Bockwinkel, yes. So because Nick Bockwinkel, also a heinous villain in wrestling for sure. I don't know anybody who was like, I like Nick Bockwinkel. No, even me, who's a fan of the heels, I was scared of Nick Bockwinkel at times. But yeah, Jericho, man, if you, I hope you guys are ready because this is going to be a Jericho heavy segment because that guy was the master of segments, and so just get ready, gird your loins, buckle in, and get ready. I just
thought of something here.
What's that?
Have next week's show.
What's that?
Top 10 feuds.
Yeah, top 10 feuds. I think we got our next. Yeah, we don't have to wait till Wednesday. Top 10 feuds of all time.
Next week, top 10 feuds of all time.
Sweet. I can't wait to start doing
this. Might be on the list again.
It might be. All right, let's go to number 8. Of course, the Festival of Friendship. After befriending Owens in a months-long program where Owens and Jericho became best friends, it all accumulated on February 13th episode of Raw when Jericho unveiled the celebration of Jericho's appreciation for Owens' friendship with the Festival of Friendship. This segment had everything. Showgirls, had gifts, even had a magician. First was the art of Jericho, then the creation of Kevin, the statue. And then Friendship the magician doing his trick to the chagrin of Owens, who said his 9-year-old can do those same tricks as well. This resulted in the magician being put on the list of Jericho. After Owens had a gift for Jericho, Jericho opened the gift, and it was the list of Owens, which led to Owens attacking Jericho and turning Jericho face. Holy crap. This was so over the moon, so over the top. And it was brilliant because, as I recall, Vince McMahon did not like this at all. He didn't like the combination of him and Jericho, of Owens and Jericho. He didn't like the friendship, the Festival of Friendship. And Jericho did it anyways, and was probably one of the most watched segments, I think, of that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, this is actually the last time, in my opinion, WWE was really good.
Yeah.
And him and Owens not being in the main event at Mania.
Yeah.
It was a travesty, and it led to him going to AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. What was memorable for me was, outside of worst Alex Haney, worst WrestleMania match ever.
I don't know about ever. Come on.
Yeah. I love Jericho as a heel, but Jericho as a face during this point and this time was amazing because he cost Owen the Universal Championship against Goldberg. And that little smirk, like you could tell this was building up to something that was going to be a huge turn on.
So Jericho was supposed to have the belt at Mania, the Universal title.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be fighting over that instead of the U.S. title.
Yeah. And of course, Vince being Vince, went ahead and said, we're going to go with Goldberg. Goldberg is a bigger draw. All right, let's go to number 7. Sweet Chin Music at the Barbershop. One of the oldest stories in wrestling history is the fallout and eventual split of tag teams, and the Rockers was anything but normal. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty had a modicum of success, even unofficially, winning the WWF Tag Team Gold. And over the next few months, tensions were running high, and it accumulated on January 11th, 1992, during a segment on Bruce Beefcake's Barbershop. Shawn Michaels, before he was known as HBK, super kicked Jannetty and tossed him through a window, thus ending their partnership and launching Shawn Michaels' solo career. Let's wax poetic for a second about Shawn Michaels and Marty sketchy Jannetty.
Well, Jannetty, he had all the talent in the world. He might even be better than Shawn Michaels as a wrestler. But what Shawn Michaels was over the top ambitious and over the top scheming.
Yeah.
and he was able to just worm his way to the top.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before. I in terms of being an overall wrestler, I don't think Shawn Michaels is in the top 5. But as a performer, Shawn Michaels is number 1. There is nobody. There's just nobody that could show off and perform like Shawn Michaels did. Maybe the exception being Hulk Hogan. I don't consider Hogan to be a wrestler. I consider Hogan to be a performer, So
Hogan must pose.
Yeah, Hogan must pose. That is absolutely. If we learned anything from listening to wrestling podcasts, it's that Hogan must pose. But yeah, I mean, Barbershop was a great set. The kick, then the toss through the window, and you just have Marty Jannetty kind of hanging over the edge, half in, half out, was just absolutely hilarious. And it launched Shawn Michaels' career, and it ruined Marty Jannetty's career as well. I think a lot of people don't realize the downturn that Jannetty took,
Well, he had a lot of starts and stops after that, and it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he had
Jannetty's fault, and part of it's Michael's fault. So
yeah, and there was a lot of backstabbing backstage, and obviously Shawn wanted to go, Shawn wanted to go separate. Mr. Perfect told him to use their Heartbreak Kid moniker, and turn heel, and so we can thank Mr. Perfect for giving us HBK, Shawn Michaels, but you feel bad because I mean Jannetty tried to reunite with him, it didn't work. He tried to rejuvenate the Rockers gimmick with Al Snow, and that didn't work. He bounced in and out of WWE. He's doing independent promotions at this point. So it's just weird to see that dichotomy that a decent tag team together separated. One went skyrocketing all the way to the moon, and the other one fell all the way to the pits of hell. So, all right, let's go to number 6.
Look at Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, those two guys, Neidhart was never going to be a main eventer. As great as he was never going to be a main eventer. But Bret had that panache. He had that ability to be a main eventer, So let's go to number 6. Probably one of the most torn of segments, and that's Dinner Debonair. If it seems like this might be a Jericho heavy segment list, you're right, only because he is the king of the segments. This was like no other. While MJF was trying to become a member of the Inner Circle, the mutual respect and budding bromance, which accumulated with a dinner that even included a steak dinner and a musical number. This tore fans. There were people who loved it, and there were people who hated it. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
It too.
and he kept trying to win a Tony. That was the best part. The two of them were trying to panhandle to get themselves a Tony nomination.
Oh, Matt Hawkins.
Matty Hawkins says that this sucked. That's the general gist.
Yeah.
Is it's either you love it and you appreciate it for what it was, or you hate it and you think it took the shine off of both
Didn't they
those
win an
wrestlers.
award for this from a
New York Times listed it as the
Yes,
top
yeah.
20 as one of the top 20 best things that happened on television and that year. I mean, what do you think about Dinner Debonair? I think you loved it.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, what the hell is happening?
Anytime you can have two macho wrestlers break into a song and dance and a choreographed number is well worth your time.
So I thought that Jericho was singing.
Yeah.
And it was. I thought MJF was just lip syncing, but MJF actually has a pair of pipes on him.
Yeah.
He's
Oh
got
yeah.
some pipes.
Yeah.
And he was a good singer.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. I think I've watched that segment after it first appeared for about a week. I rewatched it over and over and over again. The only thing I watched more than Dinner Debonair was Punk coming back to wrestling at Rampage. I watched this probably close to a couple of 100 times. It's still, I mean, I'll still watch it. It still cracks me up. So let's go to number 5. As voted by us, Roddy Piper goes Coconuts. No one had a better set of historic segments than Roddy Piper, and his segment called Piper's Pit. One of the most iconic segments was on March 25th, 1984, when Piper attacked Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Now, Snuka wanted to be on Piper's Pit. He was on previously, and of course, Roddy Piper gave him no chance to talk, which was good because as well as Snuka wrestled, that man could not cut a promo to save his life. So he asked to be invited. What's that?
Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, brother. So he has to go on Piper's Pit once again. And of course, Piper wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise. Then Piper drops a grocery bag and pulls out a bunch of fruit, bananas, a pineapple, and then he dumps a couple of coconuts. Then he takes one coconut and smashes it over Jimmy Snuka's head, sends Jimmy Snuka railing back, and he destroys the Piper Pit set. This is when I fell in love with Roddy Piper. I liked Roddy Piper, but this was when this is what cemented me in being Piper being my number one favorite wrestler of all time.
Well, the interesting thing about this is, what are you saying? This is another Canadian Screwjob number? What are you talking about? We're giving Piper the love that he deserves.
Oh my God, Haney.
Haney, you're just full of piss and vinegar. Come on.
Yeah.
So what I liked about this was these were not no doctored coconuts.
Oh no.
I'm sure that Jimmy Superfly Snuka had a legit concussion
Oh yeah.
after getting
this-
with these.
This was back in the day when concussion protocol was just rub some dirt on it. Just walk it off. You'll be fine.
Walk it off, Snuka. And I feel like it's the only justice that I guess the murdered wife of Jimmy Snuka ever got.
Yeah.
It was a smash of the head from Roddy Piper.
I mean, I liked Snuka, and I'll always remember Snuka jumping off the top of the steel cage against Don Morocco at Madison Square Garden, and just being like, holy shit, that is probably one of the greatest moves I've ever seen, is somebody coming off that top cage. But Roddy Piper, he knew how to piss you off. And he knew how to get a reaction out of you. And I've heard stories that Snuka had no idea the coconut was coming. I heard that they planned it completely in the back. who knows? I mean, I met Roddy once and never asked him about it. I talked more to Roddy about movies and a little bit of wrestling. But who knows? I mean, the stories are bound. And of course, Piper's no longer with us, and neither is Jimmy Snuka. He's no longer with us.
Well, this kind of reminds me of when Jake got hit with the guitar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whether the guitar was not doctored and
no, it's like, but he thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he just took a beating and slivers in his back.
And this was, I mean, you saw coconut flakes and coconut water shooting out of the coconut. I don't think it was doctored, but
Well, I guess you could cut it with like a saw, like in different spots, so it breaks.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever tried to open a coconut. That shit ain't easy. Right. I would hate to think of the PA, the PA who the production assistant who had to saw the coconuts in half and then tape them together.
Yeah, like is it even possible to break it on someone's head?
I don't know. I'd be willing to try it out. Maybe we can find
the force you'd have to use to smash it open. So it would have to be doctored somewhat.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy a coconut and try it on myself. See if I can just
even how long it would take to smash it on a piece of cement.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can save. I've had
save your noggin and flogging. And
I don't want to knock myself out and then forget math. All right, so let's go to our number 4. This is now voted by you, the friends of the show, fans on Twitter. I am really shocked and surprised that this was number 4. To me, this is number 1 for me, but it is, of course, a very macho wedding. We all know that if a wedding takes place in a ring, especially in the WWE, it leads to mayhem and disaster. Macho and Elizabeth's wedding is the only exception to that rule. We were treated to a month-long story of love. He turned on her during Hogan and his tag team, an eventual breakup. He changed valets. He went with Sensational Sherry. Sherry turned on Macho when Macho lost the loser retires match with the Ultimate Warrior. And as she's attacking Macho, Elizabeth comes back and she protects Macho Man. And it was so awesome to see it. The wedding was beautiful as it was regal. So much so that it actually co-main evented SummerSlam 91. What made this surreal was it was played down the middle as well as the ring that they were married in. In real life, this was the beginning of the end of their relationship. They were they were already married by the time this happened. And this was really several months later, they would actually get a divorce. So it's surreal. I mean, what are your thoughts on number 4, A Very Macho Wedding?
Well, I didn't think it was that good.
Oof.
I'm just going to say it. I didn't think it was that good. I don't even think it should be on the list.
Oh, man.
But I got to do some give and take with you, so I've got to let some things slide. It wasn't really a wrestling segment. It was more of a Macho Elizabeth thing. So
yeah, I remember when he got on one knee and said, "Elizabeth, will you marry me?"
Well, I could see being on the list more than this.
Yeah. But it was beautiful. It was so regal, and it was like it was better than Princess Diana's wedding. It was just, man, it was so, and it was like they had ring bearers and they had flower girls. I mean, this was legit. Like they gave the fans what they wanted, which
is these little girls in this picture.
I don't know I don't know if they're related to them or
it looks a bit like Elizabeth, maybe some nieces or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Stephanie. I don't know, but I mean, they had a real pastor there. I mean, they played it legit. They played it down the middle.
Well, maybe Macho was hoping this would kind of save their marriage. I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, the one thing about Macho Man is that they were a real couple. He was very jealous. He was very controlling. Obviously it's sad. Macho's no longer with us. And
you got heat now, brother.
I got heat now. How the hell do I get heat? I'm sticking up for Macho and Elizabeth. Elizabeth's no longer with us as well. So it's really sad. But yeah, I mean, this was like the Princess Diana wedding for wrestling fans. You didn't get cake in the face and a midget popping out of the cake and low blowing Macho Man, like you so often see on WWE. All right, let's go to number 3, numero tre. Again, this is another one. I'm completely shocked that this is where it's at, number 3. Hogan and Andre face off on Piper's Pit.
Wait. Is this a breakthrough moment for Just Another F podcast? Is this the first time Hogan's made our list?
Yeah, this is the first time Hogan's made our list for something good.
So like there's a bridge going on between us and Hulk Hogan right now.
Yes, the invisible door is open for Hulk Hogan. We're going to talk about him in a glowing manner, as opposed to our previous podcast episode where we talked about how much we did not like Hogan. This wasn't the first time Andre and Hogan faced each other on different sides of the fence, but this has to be the most important one, if not just for their feud, but of all the wrestling feuds. On a Piper's Pit, Hogan was presented with a trophy for celebrating 3 years as champion. Andre came out and gave him a stiff handshake. The next week, Andre got a smaller trophy, and then the gods of wrestling made them meet, and one of the most important segments happened. Andre comes out the week after with Bobby Heenan, tore the crucifix off of Hogan's neck, and challenged him to a championship match at WrestleMania 3. This left Hogan stunned with a trickle of blood on Hogan's chest. Holy crap.
And a tear in his eye.
A tear in his eye.
A legit tear.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
So many people were dumbfounded. I mean, if you watch the segment, I don't know if Piper knew what was going to happen. Because in all honesty, he looked completely surprised at what was happening during that match or during that segment.
And
I mean,
as a fan watching, your little heart was broken.
Oh, yeah. Because you saw Andre the Giant, the lovable giant, who's in The Princess Bride, for God's sakes, is tearing off a crucifix off of Hogan's neck. And
you see these two that are best friends. You love Hulk Hogan at this point still. You love Andre, and you're like, no.
Yeah. It was emotional because I was like, holy crap. How's Hogan going to stop Andre the Giant WrestleMania 3? It's going to be impossible. It's going to be virtually impossible for Hogan to stop Andre the Giant because Andre the Giant was 7 foot plus tall. He was 400 and plus pounds. I mean, he was a maniac. How's he going to stop Hogan? How's Hogan going to stop him? That was I worried about it. And it made me want to go see WrestleMania 3 on pay-per-view. It was awesome. It was awesome. Let's go to number 2.
What's with all these UK people getting?
They're a salty
Piper?
bunch. They're a salty bunch. I mean,
No,
if I had to eat boiled food,
love Piper so much.
if I had to eat boiled food all the time, I'd be salty too. So let's go to number 2. The Hart brothers finally make up. In a tale as old as Cain and Abel, brothers going against each other is the norm. As strong as the bond was between Bret and Owen, it was eventually decimated. Jealousy reared its ugly head, and the brothers were at each other's throats, which led to amazing matches, by the way. What happened was that Owen got into a program with Davey Boy Smith for the European Championship. And in a match, when they're ready to go at each other's throats, Bret Hart slides out from the back, slides into the ring, gets between the two of them, and tells them that he's sick and tired of the American fans trying to break down and break up the Hart family, and that we need to come together as brothers. And Owen, with crying, visibly crying, him, Bret, and Davey Boy Smith all hug, and we are then created the heel faction called the Hart Foundation. I can't express it more beautiful than that.
Well, to me, it's the greatest segment of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm from Canada or what, but just them coming to blows, Davey and Owen and Brett breaking it up, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, the rivalry was
I
great
cried.
too.
I cried.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you when I saw
Yeah.
that.
I mean, the rivalry was great. We got to see some great matches between Owen versus Brett. So much so that, you know, deep down inside, I kind of wanted to see it go a little longer, maybe another couple months. But when they got back together and they reunited and they hugged in the middle of the ring and they had a common enemy, and that was the USA, it made me go, damn, brothers helping brothers. And even Davey Boy Smith, who's a brother by marriage, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who's a brother by marriage as well. You know, Brian Pillman, who, you know, was a student of Stu's. It was really good to see those two make up and form this faction, which I think is probably one of the best factions of all time, which is the Hart Foundation. You know, they were heels in America, but they were faces everywhere else.
Yeah, to me, this is the greatest. This is the greatest segment. I watched it. I made Dallas watch it actually, and
Oh, cool.
he enjoyed it.
Dally liked it.
Yeah,
good for Dally. All right, let's go to number one.
as voted.
Yeah, let's go to number one, numero uno, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Jericho making his WWF debut. Anytime a wrestler debuts for a new company, it's something special. The aura of seeing what he can do in new surroundings, the anticipation is amazing. For weeks, we were treated to a countdown clock to a new millennium. The whole guessing game on who it was blew up. Then on August 9th, 1999, on a live Raw, while The Rock was cutting a promo in the ring, the clock popped up with 10 seconds left, and it counted down 10, 9, 8, 7, and then the lights go out. We get strobe lights of all different colors going off, and sure enough, in a sparkly shirt with his hair in a little ponytail up top, we are treated to Y2J, Chris Jericho, who came to WWE to save them. How amazing was that? That pop was huge. I don't know of any wrestler who debuts on WWE or anywhere else that got the pop that Jericho got. I mean, holy crap. Canada Dry, lay down some sweet, sweet music about Mr. Chris Jericho.
Okay, so this has almost been the list of Jericho.
Yeah.
He just had come from WCW, where he made a huge name for himself. Eric Bischoff trying to re-sign him, chasing him around the building pretty much to get him to re-sign.
Yep.
Jericho always delaying it because he knew he wanted to come to WWE. And when he finally showed up, the fans were going nuts. Welcome to Monday Night Jericho. And wow. I don't know if it's number one, but Twitter voted it.
Yeah.
It was a groundbreaking moment, and if you're a younger person, it's a groundbreaking moment.
Yeah, and what made it so great was he went ahead and did it against The Rock, who at that time was the hottest wrestler in WWE. There was nobody hotter, maybe the exception of Stone Cold Steve Austin. But The Rock, I mean, he was cutting a promo on the Big Show, and all of a sudden the lights go out. We get the strobes, and then you see Jericho sitting on top of the ramp with his facing the Jumbotron, holding his hands out, and then it's like break the walls down, and like that pop. And people knew because there were signs. I'm a Jericho-holic, and you know, signs kind of requiting back to his days in WCW, and it was awesome. Like I can't think of any debut per se that was as good as
it was an amazing debut, that's for sure.
I mean, it was balls out. I mean, if Vince did something right with a debut, that was it right there, because any other debut. I mean, it's a little different when it's Royal Rumble and you're getting an old timer back, to come in. Edge's pop at Royal Rumble, for example, was huge as well. But I don't think anything had that energy quite like Jericho coming out. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that's our top 10 list.
So we got Brick City L here to finally say his bit here.
Hey, Brick City L, you back, brother? Oh,
yep, there we go.
There he goes.
I figured it out. It was the headphones. For whatever reason, StreamYard does not work good with like standard headphones. So if you use like earbuds or don't use them at all, you guys sound warped. It sounded like, if you remember in WCW how Chronic's theme song started out, exactly how it sounded. And I'm like, why are these guys sounding like this?
I'm all right with that. I wouldn't mind sounding like Chronic.
It was worth the wait to finally hear what you have to say. Again, his words do not reflect our views here at Just Another Effing Podcast and Effing Wrestling, just for legal reasons.
It's called CYA. Cover your ass. Brick City L, drop your promo, brother.
Me. Yeah, I just wanted to address something. I've been a part of AFW since the beginning, and there's a son of a bitch who said some things online that has a wrestling network that no longer exists, and I don't want to give this guy any clout or any shine, but I feel as though it's my duty to address this son of a bitch. Spencer Canner, I'm talking to you. You sit there, you talk shit about JFB, you sit there, talk shit about F, and you sit there and talk shit about Aaron. But your fucking partner that you probably bend over for in jail, yeah, Jacob, that son of a bitch, was scamming wrestling fans out of money. He's in a fucking Canadian prison. And you sat there and you rolled for this piece of shit when he scammed people out of thousands of fucking dollars. And you have the nerve to talk shit about what we do over here? Fuck you.
Booyah. That is solid, man. That was woo.
It was worth the wait.
It was hot take.
I like your Jake the Snake voice in it all, just calm.
Man, oh man. All right, well,
waste energy on somebody who doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah. I totally agree. So, but hey, since we had technical difficulties,
he needed to be fucking addressed.
let's have you on next week. We're gonna do top 10 feuds of all time.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
All right.
I can't wait for that. I've got my list ready for that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on our amazing website, www.effingwrestling.com.
Any closing words?
You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. But if you want to know where to find us, and those links are on our website, effingwrestling.com. You can find us on prowrestlingtees.com, ladies and gentlemen. Get a Canada Dry shirt. Get a Brick City L shirt. Get a JFB shirt eventually. That's right, prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. And with that being said, and it's weird because we had Hulk Hogan on our list. I don't know if he was made aware that we were going to induct him in our top 10 segments of all time. Have you talked to Hulk Hogan?
Okay, so I'm going to just come out with it. Hulk Hogan said, I want to be on this list. He told me, get me on the list. You want me to come on your show? You're not talking good stuff about me, brother. He said, get me on the list and we'll go from there. So, okay. But still, that's effing wrestling 622.
Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan 0. And that's Canada Dry out.
This has been an effing worldwide media production. You can find us on Twitter at All Effing Wrestling or at Effing Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/effing wrestling. After that, why don't you go ahead and throw a T on your back You can find us on the Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can find all this at our new website, effingwrestling.com. And as always, have a great